It's episode 1263, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, he's back. It's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, it's our managing editor, Downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, it is great to have you back, man. You missed the last couple of weeks because of your big TV show. We were talking all about it. I spilled all the beans. I violated all your NDAs, so no worries
I'm very
about that.
close to being able to reveal stuff. There's two big projects that I'm working on. One is I was in Texas recording the last production week of our TV show, which hopefully I can reveal some stuff about publicly soon. And then another documentary series that I'm working on that I should be able to talk about soon too. But I'm not a road guy, man. You know,
You're a homebody.
I'm a homebody. I mean, you Cameron, you know this about me. Like, it takes a lot to get me out, you know?
And then, but when we do go out, we make memories because it's got to be worth it.
But that's the problem. When I'm on the road, I live the road life. You know what I mean?
You're a roadie, yeah.
And like, so I'm a social person. Cameron knows this. He's visited me down here too. Like, I'm a very social person, you know, like I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people in my life that, in close proximity. But so when I'm on the road, like, I typically these days will stay at like Airbnbs with other people I'm traveling with, you know? And here's my problem. If I hear fun stuff happening in other parts of the house, you know, I'm not going to join. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's ill-advised, even if it's very late at night, and
what are you talking about? Like somebody's playing cornhole or something? What are you talking about? You're in your room.
Yes, and I hear laughing. Okay, you're in your room, Cameron, and you're with and it's a house with numerous other dudes, right?
Right.
You hear laughing going on in the other room.
Yeah.
You just going to stay in the room, go to bed early?
How tired am I?
You're very tired. You're beyond tired.
So am I to the point of being tired enough that the laughing is annoying and I'm going to go out there and tell them to shut up?
No, you're so tired that you could sleep through laughing.
Oh, well then I think honestly, I would be the one to sit it out. You, on the other hand, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so some nights it's playing cards. Some nights, somebody brought like a Nintendo Switch. I don't even play Nintendo, but like, hey, Mario Kart, and that's my problem. When I'm on the road, I'm living the road life. And the road life is hanging out, late at night.
I feel like I have a similar but opposite problem. I am normally the last one awake. Like, I will stay up I'll be the one that keeps us up till 3 a.m. Yeah. I have a lot of friends that are early morning people, so they have whole adventures in the mornings at like 7 a.m. going to coffee shops, getting things.
And I can't function right now.
I'm sleeping in.
So tired.
I'll skip morning like hangout time. I will be leading night hangout time.
That's the problem. I've shifted as I've gotten older. We're just talking. We're going on 20 years of this thing. Some of these people that I'm on the road with, I don't even know if we're around during our first episode. We're barely alive during our first episode. I've aged into morning person, and now I'm just sleep deprived for 2 weeks. So I crushed one of those little Red Bull things before this.
Oh, really? Recording. It's that recent. Like, you're still ragged from the road.
Still super tired. Yeah. Well,
have you ever taken a 5-hour energy drink?
They scare me. I don't trust things in gas stations that are small liquid vials.
I don't know. I've had great track record with Four Locos. Like those are, I get those at gas stations. Those are great.
See, here's the thing.
It's a good energy drink, everybody. If you haven't had a Four Loko, try it. It's a good.
Yeah, make sure your grandma tries it. Yeah.
Here's the thing about gas station energy drinks. I feel like most of them are only on the market for a short amount of time before they end up becoming illegal. Like they it's the same thing with having Four Loko. Like they skirt in. Yeah. It's kind of like, let's not ask questions. Let's just put this in the gas station. Yeah. And then, someone from the health department decides to like see what's actually in these things. Yeah. And we realize we got a problem on our hands.
Dude, I was listening to NPR 2 days ago, and they were talking about Florida right now. They're having to do emergency legislation around a certain substance that's not THC, but it's derived a similar way from a plant. Yeah. And it's not THC, but it's something else that just is new. and they haven't regulated it. And because they haven't regulated it, it's all over gas stations in Florida, and people are getting high. They're selling it to kids. There's no regulation. And like now they're like having to scramble to figure out that the gas station's selling drugs to kids.
Yeah. Well, because, this is a whole rabbit hole, but they'll change, they'll slightly sometimes alter. A lot of them come from China, and they'll slightly alter the chemistry just like by a molecule. So that's technically not. Sure. And then they put like flavor in it, and they call it like
What are my teeth soft?
Liquid fuel.
Ultra boost. Oh, I guess those are shoes, but something like that, and it has like a very energetic looking little bottle, and it's like $1. And it's like, oh wow, that's why I don't buy 5 Hour Energy. I don't trust anything.
I tried it once because I was like having to pull like an all-nighter for something. And one of my friends was like, oh, I'll get you a 5 Hour Energy that'll help you. And I was kind of nervous about it, but I was like, I think I'm going to need it. I took it. I've never taken it again. It really did scare me because I was very alert all night long, but I was aware, like I've never done drugs. I assume that's what it's like being on speed. Like it was a really scary experience.
That's the thing. Like, I don't trust like brands I don't know in gas stations. Okay, because they're just fly by night. This started happening in gas stations. You're talking about local legislation having to pop in gas stations. They started in gas stations near in my area, slot machines that are showing up. Okay. Gambling is illegal in my state, right? Like you can't. This isn't like Las Vegas or Atlantic City or something where in Vegas, like they have slot machines in like the airport or whatever, the restaurant lobby. Or this is not one of those things. They just started putting them there, and like they didn't, and there was things on the news like we don't know how they're doing this or who put them here. But someone has gone around and put slot machines in, and like the police are like, is it our job to take them out? Like, can I just go in and take it? Like, we got to do something about this. But who, like, it's not like, oh, we're not going to approve the permit for a casino. It's like they just started showing up, and it was a lot of finger pointing for a couple of months of whose job is it to actually do something about this. In the meantime, they were operating. Like, it was crazy.
I love entrepreneurial gas station owners. They're the best.
Yeah. It's like, what would happen if we just
spinning?
Yeah, it's literally, what would happen if we just put a slot machine in here? And it turns out
at least 6 months of before
that's how long it took before like the city figured out whose job it was to actually address this.
It takes a lot. Yeah,
everyone knew it was a problem, but they were like, well, legally, can I just go into that gas station and take that? I don't think so. And that's what happened.
That's really funny. Hey, while you were on the road out late laughing with your friends this weekend, I went and saw Nate Bargatze's tour.
Oh, great, wasn't it?
Which you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay, you texted me. His new material is super funny. You're gonna love it. I was surprised.
You didn't like it? That.
Here's my takeaway, and I'm not. And the listeners, I love Nate Bargatze.
Yeah,
we love Nate Bargatze. We saw him before he was famous. We've been championing him for a long time. So happy for success.
Yeah.
So I am not a person who's like rooting for the underdog, but once they reach the pinnacle, I want to knock them off their pedestal.
Okay.
I love that he's on the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Stay there. My concern watching his meteoric rise was the same dynamic that breakout bands have. They create this new sound. They have an incredible debut album. It's a big hit. They tour. And then all of a sudden, a year or two later, we got to put out another album, but they don't have the years of material built up for a great second album. And it has been awesome watching Nate transition from early Nate, I'm a schlubby, dumb husband, to I'm a mediocre suburban husband. Like he's finding materials of the regular man, regular person experience. I was concerned that when he got so famous that he wouldn't have the opportunity to go to the weird reptile store during the day while he's in a small town because he has a stand-up gig that night.
Or hiking up or going on a hike to see the dead horse or whatever.
He's too famous for those experiences, which became pillar material for him. This tour made my fears come true, in my opinion. His material was, I bought a vintage Bronco, with the rich people toy. But it's a stick shift, and valets don't know how to drive stick. It was.
I didn't hear that one in that. I wonder if that was.
It's his opening bit.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't have. And
he's like impersonating the valet, fumbling around, and we got to get a guy from the kitchen who might look away. I don't know how to. And it's the whole thing about the valets, and then. He has a DoorDash bit because he's so famous he can't go out at night. He has to have stuff delivered. He has stories about hanging out with his parents and his sisters and his brother because those are the only normal people he interacts with anymore. Everybody else is on his payroll or wants to take a picture with them. He has no experiences of going to the reptile farm. He has no new material. It was very much, I'm watching my parents get old, in my opinion. And here's the thing that shocked me about the demographic. Now, he sold out 2 nights at the arena in downtown Orlando. That's 40,000 people. I was there on the first night. And Nate, we saw at South by Southwest. He was an up-and-coming comic. He was the first of, 6 opening acts?
Yeah.
Like, he was a nobody. He was a young guy, and he had young guy problems. And his new material as family stuff and it's whatever, I was shocked at the demographic that was there.
Yeah.
Now, people would say, well, Florida has old people. Orlando is the youngest city in Florida. Our average age is 31 years old. We have the largest university in the country here. You know what I'm saying? It's a young city. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I was by far among the youngest people there. I didn't see anybody younger than me. I saw people my age and older than me. And I was shocked. Like, Nate is not cool anymore.
Well, it was when he did that New York Times podcast interview, the Sunday conversation. This probably 3 months ago. He literally made the joke. He goes, "I'm your grandmother's favorite comedian." Like
the grandmas loved him.
Yeah,
loved him. And again, I love Nate. I crack up at Nate. I'm not a person who laughs at movies and TV shows. I do crack up at live comedy. I was doubled over. When we saw him at South by, I was banging the wall next to me. I was sitting on the last seat next to the wall. I was guffawing. I was laughing so hard at this dude. I smiled. I never audibly laughed the entire night. And then I took Cohen with me. And he was like, it was okay. Like, he never laughed either. And it was just like, but the old people love the old people jokes. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, man.
Well,
it's changing.
Well, and I'm wondering too, because the same tour, but he didn't. I don't remember a Bronco bit. He certainly didn't open with it. Like, he had, like I said, he brought out Will Forte prior, and it was sort of not winging a little bit. He was almost doing like crowd work at that point. He was like pointing at people in the front row and kind of having. I think it was only the 3rd date on the tour at that stage. So maybe he was still kind of. Having a little fun with it. But no, I do agree with because a lot of the material is like based on other people who are normal people, like how much of a train wreck his sister is, or his kind of clueless
close
parents.
With the family group chat bit. Did he close with
funny?
That? Yeah, which was funny. That was the only thing, in my opinion, that was funny the whole night was his closing family group chat bit.
But his personal anecdote is, I'm standing here with like Travis Kelce or something. You know what I mean?
I was caddying for Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. And the modern comedy like arc I've seen too, with if you watch a lot of Netflix specials, it's comedian gets big, kind of doing the Nate Bargatze things. Like, this is funny things from my life. Gets successful, vices take hold, right? And they start getting edgier and darker. They bottom out, and their next special is about sobriety, or they're
Tom Mulaney.
Well,
Louis C.K.
I mean,
Bill Burr. Like, rattle them off. Like, that is this arc that a lot of them go through. Is like, and then after they do that kind of like, this is who I. That's when they either go from my like absurdist, or they get like super kind of socially edgy and try to push a limit one way or the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. You see that arc a lot. But Nate, because he doesn't, he's kind of dealt with vices like a normal person, not like some rock star.
Right.
He doesn't have that sort of, those emotionally dark places to mine for comedy.
Right.
He has to, continue his style, which is very observation based, but his observations are, to your point, very different now,
Yeah. He doesn't have experiences that he can use as material. He just doesn't, other than the DoorDash embarrassment where he had 2 DoorDash drivers show up to the door at the same time, like at 10:30. And he's like, what do we, Yeah, it's like, okay, that was kind of relatable, I guess. But like, we also aren't all ordering 3 different DoorDash meals at 10:45 at night. So it's,
No, I think that's fair. Go ahead, Emily. Sorry.
I do think that he is aware of that, though, because like when he and I talked last year, he said he only has maybe like 1 more tour in him. So I think like he is still very funny. I'm excited to see him do more movies and TV shows and like writing for that. Because like I loved him on SNL, like working with those SNL guys. Like I think the skits, I think he's going to do really well in that. I think he's just trying to wrap up this stand-up chapter. And I think, but I feels like he's aware of, this is my last one, because I don't have material that will relate with audiences.
You're nailing it. I mean, it felt like, in my opinion, this was me scraping the bottom of the barrel material wise. I'm going to go do a movie. I'm going to go do some TV stuff. Even when he told you that he has 1 more big tour in him and then he's done, I'm wondering if he's going to go away for 5 years, do other things, build up experiences and materials and anticipation. We need another Nate tour. He'll come back and do a big farewell tour. If he just goes right into another tour after this,
the only comedian, I'm sure there's other examples, but like the one that has done it best of where was the comedy was everyman observations, and then gets, unfathomably successful, and then makes that the constant joke of how out of place that person feels successful, is Larry David, right? Like he's the one who made his success part of the joke. Like, why is this guy who has never tried to improve himself, an everyman thrust into success, and now is, hanging out with Leon at the mansion, and his life has become insular to the point where he's uncomfortable with normal people interactions. You know what I mean? That becomes the joke of like, I don't know, I can barely function in this world of fame. And that credit to Larry David. I mean, everything he's a comic genius, but I think he shined the light not on, hey, look how successful I am, but look how I can barely, I don't belong here. And it's evident in every interaction I have,
I think, we were too young to know that Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld, Ray Romano,
Kevin James
were stand-up comics before they then graduated to TV and movies and doing comedy. I mean, we knew Eddie Murphy was, and then he went and did movies, became a huge movie star, and then he came back and did the specials like Raw and stuff like that. He wasn't touring back then like the way that Nate does, but we forget that is the trajectory. I think Nate being at the pinnacle of stand-up comedy for so long, I mean, it's been 5 years now, essentially, is actually the really rare thing. Normally they pluck them right before they hit that pinnacle and they put them in TV and movies. Nate kind of staying true to who he was first and seeing this through, I think it's great. I think you're right. I think the people who stay stand-up comics crash out and then come back later. They're very different. They go into podcasting or they do something else. I think like this is an interesting career trajectory to watch. We're rooting him on. I just didn't laugh. So
you know who the analog for him is?
Tell me.
Gaffigan, where he's wholesome, family man, pretty much worked clean. Never really had this big public sort of kind of, struggle. Never went like socially or politically edgy, right. Wasn't like woke or anti-woke in terms of like, hey, look at how the world's too much like this. It was just like straight down the middle. I'm a schlubby guy who likes to eat that is failing at being a dad. But then it's also like, you got like 4 Amazon specials, though. You're doing all right. It's not as relatable anymore, but he never... And to the same point, like Gaffigan probably occupies around the same cultural space at their peak of like, oh, this is the biggest guy in the world. Everything does hilarious. No, it's not as relatable anymore,
I would say that a Gaffigan crowd today would be similar to what I saw at Bargatze.
Yeah.
Like it's probably older. We like the clean comedy, it's safe for the little ears.
I am excited to see what his movie is though.
Yeah, same.
They showed a behind the scenes. It was like a little bit of like, it was a little skit of like quote unquote behind the scenes of him filming. And it was like, he was the husband, there was the wife. It felt very schlubby husband, stupid husband, Kevin James, you know, like, you know, King of Queens type vibe. But the bit was in this little clip that they showed was that stand-up comedians transitioning to acting don't know what to do with their hands because they're always used to like holding something. And so like, it was this quote unquote behind the scenes of action, and then like Nate holding nothing in his hand, but his hand was where a mic would be, and they would have to put like props in front of him and different things, or like give him a banana to hold in the kitchen and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good little bit, self-aware, you know, but who knows what the movie's actually like.
The thing that gives me hope is, and we've had, I think relatively recently, had the Will Forte conversation, how I think everything he is in is good and smarter than it, and his performance is always smarter than it needs to be, even if it's better than the material. You know,
Last Man on Earth was such an underrated show.
And what was that show about where he's the true crime podcast? I felt like was underrated.
Yeah, that was really good. It's on Peacock. I watched the whole thing. It was good.
And then 4 seasons, he was the best part of. I felt like, you know, you have all these. He was the character that every time he was on screen, he had more depth than anyone on there. You know. I recently, when I was on the road one I rewatched MacGruber, and you forget like how scene to scene. I mean, it's wildly inappropriate, but like
some wives worry that when their husband's on the road, they're going to go to an adult establishment or the bar with their friends. Your wife has to worry that you're watching MacGruber by yourself.
Guys, here's the thing. I wasn't by myself. It was one other guy.
First of all.
And it was very late, and we should have been asleep. But it was like the tile came up. We're like, oh, leaving soon. We should probably fire that back up. Which we did, and watching its entirety.
Does it hold up?
Oh, it holds up great. You know, I would say the first 20 minutes, there could have been more jokes. You know, but there's a bit in MacGruber that I forgot about. Like, he drives that Mazda Miata, you know, and it has like a stereo, because it's convertible. It has like a stereo that comes out of the car that you can take. You remember like when cars would have like the detachable. Yeah. Every scene starts with him pulling up to wherever it is, you know, the nightclub in Vegas, or, you know, going to recruit the team or whatever. Every time he gets out, he takes the stereo out. And if you watch in scenes like slow-mo scenes, he's always carrying the car stereo. And it's never really like explained why he loves the stereo. There's one scene where he walks into a nightclub and you know, this like high-end party, and they're like, this is the only reference to it. You know, they're like, can I take your jacket, sir? Or your car stereo? He goes, nice try. And just keeps walking with it. There are little bits in that where I'm like, dude, it's just, you know, it didn't need to be in there, and it's never really addressed, but little stuff like that really made me laugh.
Why did they stop doing that? I think cars started not making the traditional shaped stereos. They started doing more infotainment screens and stuff, maybe, but was that it? Like, when did that stop? Because I had one in the 90s, aftermarket. I installed it, had the little pop-off faceplate.
I never had one of those.
Yeah, I think once people just start plugging their phones in, you know, it's like there's a new, I don't know if you guys check out Slate Automotive. I think it's an incredible idea for
to strip down cars.
Where the chassis is the same and just kind of interchange parts. Like, it's almost like a Lego thing, you know.
Yeah,
but they don't have. It's just a plug for a phone. They're like, everyone just plugs their phone in anyway. There's optional Bluetooth speakers, but it's like, look, pretty much everyone does the same. Why can't we just acknowledge no one wants one of these infotainment scenes, and they're just using their phone? And so they just put a little phone port right there, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah. When are those supposed to come out? Because I definitely would have my eye.
I've already built a couple on. Yeah. You can build custom ones on the website.
I've been to the website a bunch of times too. I never went through the building process. So.
Yeah.
But that 20,000 truck, when you were done building it, how much was it?
I didn't even look at the price, to be honest.
Yeah,
I just did it for the fun.
By the time you make it cool, it's like, oh, this is a normal price now.
But they did. I'm not. I could talk about it all day because I think it's a brilliant idea. But like, you know, they don't even do paint jobs. Everything's a custom wrap. Like, so the ways to keep costs down are really, really smart in that car. I really do think they could be a game changer I don't think they'll be the last company to do that model,
Well, especially with the prices getting so high, so.
Yeah.
I just paid off my car this month after 6 long years. Ooh, very excited about that. So I will not be purchasing a car anytime soon. Absolutely not. Do not put that on me. They really ruin my day when I see them on the roads.
Emily, as somebody who my entire adult life had car payments, because I would do leases because I like getting a new car every 3 years. I would say I paid off my car 5 years ago and detail it, keep it nice, upgrade little things that break, keep it. But the idea of having no car payment is so freeing. I never want to go back to having a car payment. So I've had it long enough that I'm making car payments to myself to save up for my next car payment or next car to pay cash for it.
Yeah.
So I have completely changed my mindset. You will not want to go back to having a car payment.
I mean, from the first payment, I already didn't want to do it. So after 6 years, I am very excited to not do it anymore.
As somebody who likes new gadgets, I am surprised at how much I want to protect my no car payment lifestyle. You know what I mean? Versus in the years past, it's like instant gratification. This awesome new car came out, go get it. So.
I have friends that are like that. Like they will get a new car every a year or so, and I'm stressed for them because I'm like, you're just paying so much. Like, just buy a car, just do that.
My dad owned he sold like used cars, and he would drive home different cars. I was always like, Dad, what's your favorite car you get to drive? His answer was always the same. The one that I sold today is my favorite. And to him, and so I've never been like a car, and this isn't altruistic reasons. It was just like, it was because that was the business he was in, like a car is a commodity, like it's a depreciating asset, and don't, think of it like that. Now, I've never really had I've never had like bad vehicles, but I had a truck that I drove for like 15 years until, did I tell you this? Did I tell you what the guy told me he was going to do with it?
You told the story. He was in Hollis trash with it.
Yes. But either way, I sold it.
It's like, this is my baby for 15 years. This is my baby.
I sold it for almost as much as I bought it for. So
this will be good to take my trash down to the road.
Yeah. Either way. But I may, one of these Slate electric vehicles, I may have to splurge on at some point. They're very cool.
They are very cool. Speaking of very cool, look at that transition. We have a great show coming up. We talked to one of our favorite breakout Christian indie artists. Her name is Allison Eide. You know her. We've been posting about her and stuff. Huge viral song on TikTok and Instagram. She's coming up. We get to know her story. Also, we have One Has to Go at the end of the show. I'm excited for this one. There's got some funny ones. And stay tuned right now. Up next, it's Relevant Buzz. Today's show is brought to you in part by the new documentary, Buying Her. Why is sex trafficking a multi-billion-dollar industry? Sex buyers. To end trafficking, we need to put them in the spotlight. The documentary Buying Her, created by the organization Exodus Cry, is a first-of-its-kind film exposing the truth about sex buyers. It captures the unfiltered stories of men revealing how they became predatory consumers in the booming sex trade and how some of them found redemption. Buying Her strikes at the very heart of sex trafficking, and it's available to watch now for free at buyingher.com. All right, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is a clip that went viral of Ego Nwodim. She's on SNL. I personally think she's one of the most underrated cast members.
Okay, not a household name yet. So tell people, remind her what characters she's done. What's her breakout stuff?
This year, she had the big skit, Miss Eggy, during Weekend Update when there was...
And Lisa from Temecula.
I would say those are probably her two big ones.
Yeah.
But if you saw her face, you know exactly who she is.
Yeah.
She was on comedian Caleb Herron's So True podcast. And I've always felt a little bit of a kindred spirit with her. And I found out it's because she's my sister in Christ. She is actually very bold about her faith. Earlier this year, she was talking to Glamour about it and said that she has no shame in her faith and that the best parts of her, she said, if you see anything in me, it's God, frankly. So she is like very open. But in this conversation with Caleb, he had talked with her about, she's talked before that she would consider herself Christian light, but she's trying not to say that anymore. And he asked what that meant to her and why she's not trying to do that. So we have the clip of her talking about it here.
But you said to me the other day, we were chit-chatting at work about something, and you were like, oh, I'm trying to stop saying this, but I'm Christian light.
I said it on a podcast once. I've said it in conversation with people, and I'm like, no problem. I feel like that is just a concise way to explain how I feel without us getting into it. And then I heard myself say it on a podcast, and I was like, well, now it sounds like you're denying your faith or your spirituality, and I don't want to do that. And for a while, I was like, should I even say I'm Christian? Which feels crazy, right? My faith is my faith. Jesus was cool. Yeah. Jesus was cool. And what if we reclaim the name? What if we take it back? What if whatever y'all are doing over there is not Christian, and you call yourself something else? Yeah. And I say, yeah, I'm Christian. So I've had this thing where I go, yeah, why am I giving up the title to these cuckoo people over here who are not loving
and who are not doing good with it,
who are not doing good with it, who are not reflection of what I think Jesus represents. And I go, oh, I should claim it, and you should call yourself something else.
Yeah,
that we posted that, and the comment section was quite entertaining. Of people getting all their clutching pearls about Jesus was cool, and then it's like, all right, you might be the cuckoo person that she's talking about.
That's why I always start when people ask. I'm Christian heavy, and
Christian leaning, Christian dominant. I'm Christian dominant.
Yeah. If not light, it's very, very heavy.
But yeah, like I saw this clip going around, and I didn't know she was a Christian, but I have to say I agree with what she says. Like, I think I know people who have tried to find different terms to explain their faith. And I like this idea of, no, I shouldn't have to call myself something else, so I'm not associated with cuckoo people. I am a Christian, and I'm going to say that boldly.
I do. One thing that I really enjoyed about her clip was just how effortlessly she called because we are in this every day. We're in the online discourse of faith, the full spectrum, from the liberals over here to the deeply conservative Christian nationalists over there, and somewhere in the middle, the silent majority where we are. We're trying to navigate this. I've never heard anybody just so effortlessly and clearly refer to the fringe as the cuckoo people. And it's like, yep, that's it. They're the cuckoo people. Yeah. We're just like, they don't represent what we're about. We love Jesus. We're not like them. And don't lump us into one group here.
And the thing is, like, I think the kind of kookiness takes on different forms,
right?
Different, you know what I mean? But because
she didn't say political, she didn't say this, that, whatever. Yeah. It's just the cuckoo people, know.
Yeah.
When you see them.
Yeah, and right. I think it's probably not the only faith group that probably has that issue of like, because it's one of those things too where it's just like a comment section. Like, it's the most vocal and outrageous that usually get the most attention, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, that's why there's that association, even though it's probably, if you go into the average church, most of the attendees are probably not on the kookiness spectrum on the right side of it. It's just the other ones get all the headlines,
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. There was an interesting poll that also came out this week that a record high number of Americans now totally abstain from drinking. This new Gallup study found that 46% of U.S. adults say they do not drink alcohol at all, like not even a drink every now and then, like no drinks whatsoever. And this is the highest number recorded since this poll began in 1939.
Wow. Did they give a reason?
It seems there's a couple different factors. Obviously, some is religious, but it seems to be the biggest factor in this shift is because of health concerns. For the first time, a majority of Americans believe that even moderate drinking is bad for you. Back in 2018, 28% felt that way. Today, 53% feel this way. So there's been a big jump.
Well, I thought the narrative about moderate stuff back in the day was like a glass of red wine is good for your heart. And so now the whole narrative has changed that like any drinking is bad for you.
Yeah.
I think that's
even like a drink a week is not good for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can really see this shift around the pandemic. Like when you look at the plot lines on the graph, there was obviously a big spike during the pandemic when a lot of people were at home, bored and anxious and feeling sad and lonely and started drinking. And then around 2022, you start seeing
I watched way too much MacGruber those years.
I call them the MacGruber years. Yeah.
I you know what? I door dashed from two places. They showed up at the same time. It was very embarrassing. I wrote a whole comedy bit about it, but
I was constantly afraid that MacGruber would be leaving Netflix soon and I wouldn't have a chance to watch it again for free. So I continued to watch it repeatedly. And turns out it's just now leaving 5 years later.
And I now realize that watching it that much is bad for my health. So now I think any MacGruber is bad for your health.
Okay, here's the other, and I'm curious too, is like because I think a lot of this is led by younger generations. Like it's not so much that people are like aging out, like people who kind of raised in a culture where drinking is normalized and part of kind of, or, you know, is part of kind of social dynamics or whatever. You know, maybe there has been some habit change, but the real significant, you know, kind of push has been people under the age of like 30-ish, right? Is that?
Yeah. Gen Z
Correct.
is drinking at, and you can give the stats, at a level that is historically low, especially compared to other generations at the same age. But and we've known that for a little while, probably about a year now. We've seen that study come and like told again and again and again. But this is now, it's everybody. This is an everybody stat. Like that's what's crazy. It's like sobriety is at its highest level since 1939. That's insane. I mean, like I didn't see that coming.
I'm curious to see if the research has pinned, you know, in addition to the increase in health concerns, if there's been any other factors that have led to the decline.
I wonder if economic uncertainty and not the anxiety side of it, but the I don't have as much free money side of it factors in. Drinking at a bar is a lot more expensive than it used to be. There's no $2 beers. It's $12. I wonder if that's like part of it, but that doesn't answer the question of I'm sober because it's bad for my health. That does answer the question of I'm drinking a lot less than I used to because I just can't afford to.
Yeah. Well, there's also, I mean, I think kind of the elephant in the room too is like there's other substances that I feel like have probably increased in use because of social acceptability and legal considerations.
That's not the case within Gen Z. They're sober.
Well, here's what I've heard for Gen Z and again, this is just I don't know if it's based on data, but Gen Z seems to be doing a lot of things less, like that, especially like Gen Zers that were at a very formative time during COVID, like maybe just never re-socialized and reintegrated. And a lot of their lives are lived online. So it's not just drinking. You hear the same thing. And again, I'm not making a value statement about it, but like you hear like, oh, Gen Z isn't as promiscuous. They're not, there's a lot, there's a lot of things that their lifestyle is different because their formative years were kind of in lockdown. And so these activities that a lot of people engage with, kind of socially during that time that kind of became integrated to life, they're just not involved. They're just doing a lot of things less. This just happens to be one that has a measurable economic indicator attached to it,
Well, here's the weird thing about the economic side. Emily and I were looking at this this chart. The liquor industry has not seen a decline in sales, in revenue. Why? They're selling fewer products, but they're charging a lot more.
Yeah.
So like the industry's making the same amount of money. So there's been no economic issue, but it's just interesting. Things are changing.
But even like look at I know a lot of people, a handful of people in GZ that driver's license. It's like no big deal if you don't have one. Like there's different factors. Like I said, kind of doing less in. Kind of lifestyle that I just feel like generationally is a little different. And I think there's a variety of factors. Also digitally, some people their life, maybe aren't as kind of out in the world because the world's kind of come to them a little, if that makes sense,
Yeah. DoorDash brings it to you. Yeah.
I think what's interesting about Gen Z, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast. I know we've talked about it on our site, but there are kind of two Gen Zs that people have found in studies. The older ones who were maybe at the end of college or already out of college whenever COVID hit versus the ones who weren't and were still in school throughout COVID. Like they really do have different characteristics. And it's the younger ones. Those are the ones that are a lot more sober and not going out as much. Like when we talk about these
older Gen Z is like young millennial almost. There's this weird.
They're pretty similar. There's some differences.
Kind of murkiness from like 32 to 26.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So I think about that with Gen Z is I wonder if one day we'll just get to a point where it's like there's Gen Z A and then there's Gen Z B, and that's how we talk about them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But, okay, last thing I want to talk about is a clip of New York Jets quarterback Justin Fields that went viral last week. I forget, the Jets are your favorite, right, Jesse?
Yes.
Do you want to admit that publicly, or is that like
no? It's just they're the worst team to be a fan of because you enter in every season with the same. I could go on, but they've not done well. I'll just say that.
Well, I think this is going to be their season, okay? Because
no, it's not. No, it's not.
I think Jesus is with them this season, so maybe they'll get a little Jesus bump.
With 1 out of 53 people.
But he's the quarterback, and my sports knowledge tells me that that's a really important role to have Jesus on.
You got to have somebody to throw the ball to, and somebody to protect the guy throwing the ball.
And listen, if my knowledge of NFL quarterbacks and performance, there isn't, maybe Jesus is more concerned with traits like humility, and that's why they don't win a lot.
Like Tim Tebow.
Yeah, exactly. How many rings does he? I mean, just for context, before you do this, Tom Brady, who to my knowledge is not a person of faith,
not at all.
This is what he had his statue unveiled at Gillette Stadium last week, and that's where the Patriots play. And he said, "This is what he said." He said, "This statue is not just for you, Patriots fans. It's also for Jets fans, to give them something to throw their beers at when they leave this stadium, most likely in the second quarter, because we're getting blown out." He's the most winning quarterback of all time, and that's the kind of bravado he brings. I'm just saying, Emily, I don't know the correlation there exists between favor on the field. But anyway, let's play what Justin Fields says.
The only approval that I need is from my teammates, my coaches, and God ultimately. So. Yeah, I mean, me really getting closer to God, like I said, my relationship, me reading the Bible every day. And if I'm being real, there's some great lines, some great wisdom that I didn't even know of. So I'm low-key addicted to like getting in my Bible each and every day, just because I learn something new every day and I'm able to apply it in my everyday life. But I mean, I was sleeping on reading the Bible earlier in my life, and I wish I would have started earlier. So I encourage y'all to, go read a little bit, start in Proverbs and move on from there.
He's addicted to his Bible. I mean, he deserves a ring.
I'm rooting for Justin Fields on the field. I'm rooting for him in his spiritual life. I am just not optimistic about the Jets.
We posted this clip on Instagram, and one of the first comments I saw was, he needs to be spending less time reading his Bible and a little bit more time reading his playbook. And I was like, oh, snap.
Hey, look, he was not in a great situation in Chicago. I wish nothing but the best for him, and I'm going to be rooting for him,
Yeah,
I'm happy for him. Just not. It's not about him. It's about the institution of the New York Jets.
Are you a lifelong Jets fan? Because you could switch teams if you really hate them.
Oh, yeah,
he chose them
in college. Yeah, but back then we had like Chad Pennington. Again, I don't know his faith, but he's pretty good.
Did you grow up a Redskins fan because you grew up in the DMV?
No. It's kind of weird. We have like about Baltimore fans too. We kind of live in this awkward in between. My dad was a Pittsburgh fan, just because they were like, he likes the legacy teams from when he was young. Mm-hmm. He loves the Celtics and the Steelers. But no, I didn't really have like a favorite team, so that's why it was easy to adopt. I liked Michael Vick. I followed him. I liked the Falcons, which, by the way, he is now the coach of Norfolk State University, right down the street from me, and I will be attending several games this year.
To just see him stand on the sidelines?
I mean, ESPN did a big thing. He's another guy I'm rooting for, okay? He turned his life around. He's a person of faith, everyone knows
Didn't he have like a big scandal?
Yeah, the dog fights.
Yeah, he went to prison for about 2 years in his prime, But what a redemption tale. That's the moral of the story here.
He's like the comedians. He was at the pinnacle, crashed out.
And guess what?
Came to God.
That Netflix special is probably more interesting than the one where the guy's just been doing great. Okay. So no, he's following, a lot of these guys like they're like Deion Sanders and Deshaun Jackson are both going. They started at HBCUs, Norfolk State's a historically black college, revamp the program, kind of get it back, in good standing, and then see if they can get to a D1 program. So he's going to try to follow Deion Sanders' model. And, Norfolk State has had a kind of not a great, last decade, really. And he's going to try to bring some life to the program. I will say this. I played golf one day at a public course with my son, Noah. The two guys we got paired up with were Norfolk. It was the long snapper and punter from Norfolk State, and made me a fan. Good guys. They were nice to us on the court.
Are they addicted to their Bibles?
I don't, I really didn't come up, this was.
It should have. That's the Great Commission. You're supposed to share your faith. You're trapped with these guys for 4 hours. You can evangelize them nonstop. There's no rules.
That is a televangelist's dream. You wasted it.
I don't think you guys play a lot of golf.
Nope.
Never once.
You kind of feel out how much chit chat we're going to do here, especially when you have a kid with you on, I will say it was a public course. It wasn't like a country club. There are guys out there with no shirt on, so it wasn't that big a deal. Kind of playing fast and loose. Yeah.
Kind of course MacGruber would play it. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
With a stereo.
All right, well, that'll do it for Relevant Buzz. Make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every day where we're covering more stories like that. Thanks, Emily. Stay tuned. Up next, Allison Eide joins us. Are you a recent college grad or about to graduate from college and have no idea what's next? Check out the Global Ambassador Program, or GAP, with ELIC. GAP is a professional development program that will help you gain the tools you need for a lifetime of impact. Be immersed in the cultures of Thailand, Tunisia, or Uzbekistan for 9 months as you take language classes, grow in your faith, and serve the local community alongside a team of other Christian young professionals. And get this, ELIC recently opened applications for 2026. You could be on a plane next summer, impacting lives and reaching your fullest potential. To learn more about GAP and take the next step, go to elic.org/relevant. That's elic.org/relevant. Our guest today is Allison Eide, a Christian indie artist that is exploding right now. She's based in Minnesota, where she grew up touring as a kid with her father, Christian singer Peter Eide, and exploring her musical side in high school. In college, she spent her time as a basketball player at the University of Northwestern before trading the court for the stage. And now she's making some of the most honest, real music out there. We talked with her, Allison, about her journey, why she can't help but keep it authentic, and what's next as her career takes off. Here's our conversation with Allison Eide.
What if no one loves you? I don't know. Or what if they hate you? I don't know. Or what if you die alone? Well, I do know the one who knows it all. What if you're too much? I don't know. Or what if you're not enough? I don't know. Or what if you can't please anyone? And I will trust the one who knows it all.
Well, Allison, I'm really excited to talk with you because you have got such a unique sound in the indie space, and I just can't get enough of it. I'm curious, where do you get inspiration for your music from?
So many places, so many artists. I would say I have quite a few different artists that inspire different elements of the songs I make, whether it's the songwriting or the sound or production or just attitude. Totally depends. But artists that really have inspired kind of what I've done is the band Lawrence, if you know who they are. They're a brother-sister duo. Switchfoot John Foreman inspires a lot of my writing. Olivia Rodrigo does in some ways. A lot of people say I sound like her. I think it's because I talk or sound like a valley girl. Those are I'd say Lawrence and Switchfoot and John Foreman are the two that really have inspired the uniqueness, I'd say. So I'm still learning and growing.
I went to the gym and then therapy to push down the panic, and did it help? I don't know. Cause I wake up like I never stepped at all. Now I'm at the function. Jerry keeps asking, what's your 5-year plan? Sorry, what? I don't know. But I know the one who knows it all. And he's walking beside me, taking all of the timing and perfecting every part of it. I'm in the mirror listen. Stop! Why you freaking out? Don't you know he only wins? Check the stats again, he won't let you down. There's no report to bed.
Let's go back to the beginning first. Where did your musical journey start for you?
I grew up in a music family, so my dad was actually a Christian singer-songwriter, worship artist. He was independent his whole career, but he was on the road touring, making lots of records. And when I was when I was 6 years old, my parents put my older brother in piano lessons, and I got super jealous that he could take lessons and I couldn't. So I'd crawl up on the piano and teach myself his songs. And eventually my parents were let's just throw her into lessons. And 2 piano lessons in, I fell in love with composing and making songs and creating. So that's where I was I want to do this. And I saw my dad performing a lot, and I felt the Lord. I think I was 7 or 8 when he was you're going to do this someday. This is what I'm calling you to. And so in middle school and high school, I got to join him on the road and join him on stage and start to like experience the music industry and performing, which I loved performing. We made a couple records together and I just loved it. It was music and sports. That was like my world. So ended up after I graduated high school, I paused the traveling and touring stuff to go to college and play college basketball, which was a dream of mine. Did that for 4 years, graduated, and then ended up releasing my first single, which went viral and everything snowballed after that. So that's how we're here today.
Cut me and break my bones, but you will never touch my soul. Go ahead, bury me down with the mustard seed. Knock my knees to the ground, right where I can pick back up my crown. For the king and the king's for me.
But you played basketball in college. Did you ever consider doing that after college too, or did you know that you always wanted to go back to music?
Good question. Definitely was not good enough to do it like professionally by any means. So that would have been cool. I did feel this call to music though. Really wanted to. Everything in me just loves to create, and so getting to like write and make songs and tour and perform them and sing them with people, especially just with the mission on my heart and helping people feel really understood by Jesus and know it's like okay to not be okay. Like that was, mental health was a huge part of my journey. So getting to reflect that through music was like, I felt passion on my heart to do that.
I'd really love to hear more about why mental health is something that you're so passionate about with your music. Is that something that you have dealt with personally, or do you just see a need for it in this generation?
Since I was like 10 years old, have struggled with mental illness in different ways. My family has too in a lot of ways, but I've struggled with an anxiety disorder called obsessive compulsive disorder. And it's like a form of anxiety that is kind of weird. And it just has to do with a lot of intrusive thoughts and creating rituals outside you to cope with them. When I was growing up, like when I was on stage performing, I felt safe. When I was on the basketball court, I felt safe. But like behind the scenes, I was really debilitated. And any advice people gave didn't really help necessarily because we didn't know what type of anxiety it was, but just struggled a lot with panic and really irrational thoughts. And I remember, interestingly, growing up in a Christian home, like I knew God loved me. I knew my parents loved me. Like there were thoughts where I'm like, I know these things in my head, but I don't know how to love me. And I hate being me. And my mind feels like my enemy. And journeying through that for many years. The one thing that would like keep me going, besides Jesus, was some song by some artist that I connected with. And a song that would just get me to the next day, or the next hour, or the next week, whatever it was. But there was always a song to like just be tied to my hip and keep me going. And when I got to college, my mental health surprisingly was at its lowest. And I was really struggling. But that's where I started to realize like the way songs have like literally kept me alive. If I can write songs that would like go into some space where someone feels really isolated in what they're struggling with and like pull them into belonging, help them realize, wow, Jesus, like very close to them in their mess, and they don't feel alone anymore. Like if I can make a song that does that, I've done my job. I feel like the Lord can use that. And so that's like where my, like the heart behind writing songs came from. So, and that's, yeah, from the first song I released to present day, like the Lord has used the songs in some crazy ways and I'm really grateful.
To love, I just want to love who I am. To love, to love, to love, to love. And failing expectations made in my brain, they're the reason I avoid all the mirrors or tears well up deep in my eyes.
How do you feel like your relationship with God shapes your music?
I've been in a very interesting journey with the Lord since the career started. So for context, when I released my first single, I was literally a nobody in terms of any platform or fan base. And then the song went viral, which started it all. That same few weeks, my dad was also diagnosed with cancer. And so It was really confusing because my career started to go up and then family life behind the scenes started to really plummet. It's been like that ever since, like just a dichotomy of both happening at the same time. Interestingly, trying to understand the Lord while my dad was suffering up until a little over a year ago when the Lord did take him home after battling cancer. And everything I knowing about God just swiped off of my desk, like starting from scratch, being like, God, who are you? Where are you? I have no clue. Very out of body experience. And being in that position where I really felt like faith was at a rock bottom and I had no idea what to believe or think anymore. And I struggled a lot with PTSD, with reading the Bible and worship songs, like went to therapy and realized like those things cause panic. So how am I supposed to connect with God if I can't even do those things? Being in such a weak place like that, I wrote songs from that position, trying to understand Jesus. And I think they became very earnest. Those are the songs we're releasing now. So IDK is part of that, ironically. But I feel like my relationship with the Lord has felt the messiest and most fragile. 2 Corinthians talks about where Paul's like talking about the thorn in the flesh, and he asks the Lord to take it away 3 times. And he literally says, the Lord says to Paul, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made strong or made best through weakness. And Paul's like, I take joy in suffering and trials because when I'm weak, then I'm strong. And that verse has been a comfort for when I felt very inadequate as a Christian or as a Christian artist. I'm like, Lord, I have nothing to give. So I'm just going to write from this really low place and you do what you want. And it's been quite fascinating to see how the Lord is using that type of position in real time through the songs. And I'm still figuring it out. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's how I feel the relationship is.
Help me love who I am, not through my own lens, but through your eyes and from your pen.
No, it totally does. And I feel like that authenticity and vulnerability is so reflective of where the Christian indie music scene is right now. Like, there's just so many amazing artists like you who are being real and honest, but in a cool and exciting way. And I'm curious, how do you feel being a part of this wave of emerging artists?
It is kind of an honor because everyone do be popping off. And I'm like, y'all, let's team up and do this. I think it's like this day and age in music is crazy because I feel like the powers that be have never had less power because of social media and virality. So like anyone can have a voice at any time and it could dominate the internet out of nowhere. So I think the industry is in chaos a little bit, but I also think that it allows the Lord to have the most control now over what songs get to reach what people. I think it's cool that people get to have an unfiltered voice. I think there's areas of the internet it's a lot and maybe too much. I do think the little bit out of control chaos really puts it in the hands of the Lord. And I love getting to be part of it. I feel like it's truly like, it's like a team of artists in this generation going out to break all the norms and the barriers and reveal true earnesty and authenticity. I keep using those words, but that's just what it feels like. I feel really honored to be part of it in any way.
Burn your words, throw them in the fire. Make the tables turn, stakes are getting higher. You have me locked up in my mind. That's where I finally learned to fight. I'ma teach you something true. Truth is you're a liar. Truth is you're a...
That was Allison Eide. Make sure to check out her latest single, I Don't Know, which is out now. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's One Has to Go. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's Soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. All right, it's time for
One has to go.
I will tell you 4 things. You tell me one that has to go. Jesse, you're up first.
Okay.
Movies about guys. The nice guys The Other Guys, Free Guy, or The Fall Guy? One has to go.
I haven't seen it. I have no desire to see it, so I'm gonna go Free Guy.
Free Guy's hilarious. I don't even like those types of movies, and it was great. It was super funny.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
It was better than I thought. I don't know if I would say it was.
Okay, that's it. I went in with low expectations, thinking it was like a kid's movie about video games or whatever. It was smart. It was clever. It was a very entertaining movie. You would enjoy it, Jesse.
Well, I'm just and again, I can't pin on what my aversion is. I'm just not a big Ryan Reynolds guy. You know, he's a little, you know.
Yeah.
I can't think of the right word. He seems a little fake.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like the charm isn't as effortless as like. You know, like let's take Ryan Gosling, like legitimately like charming, and you're kind of rooting for. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and bash Ryan Reynolds for no reason.
There's enough stories of behind the scenes interactions with Ryan Reynolds to make you realize kind of like what kind of real person he is.
Yeah,
he's no Justin Hurts. I'll tell you that much. Justin Fields or whatever his name is.
Jalen Hurts, I think, is a person.
Jalen Hurts too. He's no Justin Jalen Hurts Fields. Anyway. All right, Emily. Rom-coms about you. The idea of you, anyone but you, I Want You Back, or Your Place or Mine. One has to go.
I know all of these rom-coms. Do y'all know any of these rom-coms?
I know zero of these rom-coms.
I'd have to see the movie posters, but I have a feeling they're all slightly just variations of each other, of like two people. Kind of, he's a little quirky on his face. You can tell, like, what a fun, kind of cool guy. And she's like very businessy, you know, probably where like... You know, Mrs. New York. Oh, how's this little odd couple going to come together? I can guarantee you that's a movie poster for each of those. All kind of conflated in my head.
Could not be more wrong. These are all very different. I will say you guys should watch I Want You Back. That one has Jenny Slate and Charlie Day, which is a very funny one. I think I'm going to get rid of Your Place or Mine. That one starred Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher. And while they are
that
great
implies
actors...
premarital sex. That's terrible. We don't want that.
Well, I think all these do. I was more going, those two people do not have chemistry with each other, and it was kind of a painful watch. So I do need my rom-coms to have some romance in them, personally.
Jesse, people are going back to college right now. Favorite things about college: afternoon naps with no regrets, intramural sports, cheap late night food runs, or random weekday hangouts with friends. One has to go.
I'm going to say the cheap late night food runs, because those are with you for all of life. Like, if you got to take it away for college, you can make the other ones are hard to make up for, you know?
Good call.
But it's like, if I cut that one out, it's like, I still do cheap late night food runs. So no sweat, you know, if I had to cut it out for a couple of years. My logic there.
Did you play intramural sports?
Oh, yeah. All of them. I loved it.
What does all of them mean? Like, what sports?
25 different sports. They would not only just have basketball, flag football, stuff like that. They would have tournaments on the weekends of like badminton
frisbee golf.
Frisbee golf or
I loved frisbee golf.
Racquetball. I won the championship in the B League on racquetball.
Yeah, badminton. I won a doubles championship. Yeah.
And we're bragging about those?
Were you A-League on basketball? Were you A-League or B+ league or B League or C League?
I believe I was A-League, but I can't recall.
I was B+ league. I couldn't make the A-League on Youngblood.
Yeah, it was a Youngblood.
We had legit, like, they could play college sports, like 6'6" guys on my intramural teams for 8.
I will say I can't recall. Maybe it was B+. I don't know. But either way, I enjoyed it, and we won.
You seem like an A-League guy. Like, you'd be like the worst guy on the A-League team, but you're still good.
That's pretty much, like what my role would be. We did go undefeated, though.
Maybe
it was B+. Maybe it was B+. I don't know. It's been a long time. But
were
you a key guy or a fringe guy? If you were a key guy, it was probably B+ league. If you were a fringe guy and there was 5 better guys than you, you were probably A-League.
Yeah, I was definitely more French on Youngblood.
You were A-League then, because you're good enough to be A-League.
Yeah, but it's been a long time. But either way.
Me and my friend won the racquetball tournament. We were the champions of that school-wide.
Did y'all have any fun, like, team names?
No. The way that ORU worked, it was a residential campus. We didn't have, like, frat houses and stuff. We had dorms. And so your floor on your dorm or your wing on your dorm would be kind of an intramural team. And so, they would name your wing or name your dorm floor. So there was a sense of camaraderie. And then you would have a sister wing in the female dorms, and you would sit together at chapel or sit together at cafeteria kind of thing. So it was a socializing thing. And then your intramural teams, girls teams and guys teams, would kind of like support each other and stuff like that. So it was a frat-esque dorm life. It was really cool. But the wing that Jesse was famously on is called Youngblood, and I was there my senior year on that floor. It was very serious about intramural sports type of a floor. You had like the nerd floors, the academic floors, the sports floors, that kind of thing. So
every time I learn something new about Christian colleges, it just really blows my mind. Like, y'all just had such a different experience.
It was a residential campus. It was you got 5,000 students just stuck here. You got to give them stuff to do.
Wholesome. That's such a good word to describe me.
It was great. A lot of
lifelong memories. It was great. Okay, Emily, your college stuff. Here we go. Student discounts on everything. Unlimited cafeteria ice cream. Free T-shirts from every event. Or weekend road trips just because one has to go.
I think we get rid of the free T-shirts just because some of them were really ugly. Like, I remember them and like having to wear them to like promote events, and it was like, I can't wait to donate this to the thrift store once I'm done with this event.
You bothered to donate it? That was nice of you.
At the women's shelter, it supported women who were escaping from domestic abuse. So that's where
you're
all
making
my
them wear your used.
No, they don't have to wear it.
Palooza event.
They don't have to wear it. If someone bought that ugly shirt, then the money would go to them. I was a good Samaritan in college and post college. I'm still a good Samaritan. Keep going. Let's go to the next one.
I ended the good streak when I graduated. Yeah, I broke bad that afternoon. Yeah.
Jesse, Tom Hanks, Tom Holland, Tom Cruise, Tom Hardy. One has to go.
Nothing against the guy. Probably Tom Hardy. Little serious for me, The other one is like, if I'm going to watch a Tom Hardy movie, it's not like one. It's like, hey, it's going to be a light night. Let's just fire up the latest Tom Hardy. He's a very talented guy, But it's a little serious for me. All the other ones kind of lighter fare. Even Tom Cruise, he acts serious, but it's hard to take the movie seriously. Like you watch Mission Impossible, and it's like, I get he seems very, very intense here, but it's kind of funny, right? Like,
and he doesn't know that that's how people are watching it.
Exactly.
He thinks everybody thinks it's as serious as he does.
Same thing with like Top Gun Maverick, right? Like for him, it's a very serious film, right? But like you watch scenes, especially when he's interacting with other people, like I think this is how a person would act in a bar. Like, you know what I mean? Clearly he's never been in that situation, and you're like, dude, you're making a fool out of yourself. You would be beat up and arrested if you behave like this. Like, they're not going to playfully throw you out like DJ Jazzy Jeff and you come back and pay the bill the next night, Like, you're acting inappropriate and weird here. And most of the interactions in the film are like that. That's why I love Tom Cruise movies, because at some point he detached from just reality, and he's like doing an impersonation of how he thinks people act. I heard a great anecdote one time on a podcast. Who knows if it's true, but some comedian was at like a Super Bowl party in Hollywood with like some bigwig producer or whatever that invited him. And like Tom Cruise briefly showed up, and he was invited, and he was carrying a football that he had evidently purchased that day. Like, it was like, because he thinks, I'm going to a Super Bowl party, I'll probably bring a football. That's what people do. That's why I love Tom Cruise movies, because you watch them, even his interactions with Jennifer Connelly. What are they laughing at? Like, I get it. They're trying to maintain the PG-13. I think it's admirable. You don't want to interject inappropriate stuff, but it's like, this is not how two adults interact here. This is very strange. Watch a Tom Cruise movie through that lens, and it heightens the enjoyability greatly.
I will never be able to unhear the story that he was invited to a Super Bowl party once, and he went and bought a football and showed up and was carrying it to go to the party. He has no social skills.
But that's what I'm saying. Watch him in the bar scene. I think that's how he thinks, oh, this is what it's like. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
be in
how
a bar and
normal.
flirt, and
it's like you're acting like creep. You're gonna get beat up, dude. Like, it's how he thinks. Like, if he was an alien dropped to Earth and was given like a month to figure out how to interact, but his only filter for doing that was like ingesting pop culture, right? That's how he behaves in his films. Not like a real human, but like a human someone who's trying to act human. Wow. That's my Tom Cruise take.
This ruined Tom Cruise for me. I used to be a big fan until this moment. Not true. All right, last one. Here we go, Emily. Yellow cartoons. SpongeBob, Homer Simpson, a Minion, or Pikachu. One has to go.
It's going to be the Minions. I want to eradicate them from the earth. I used to work at a kids camp, and the kids would speak Minion to me, gosh. I would have to be really careful not to scream at them. But they would just say "Bidoo, Bidoo." I was still traumatized by it about 10 years later. So I'll kill the Minions.
I have a soft spot in my heart because the beginning of the Minions movies, their life dream is they're trying to get to Orlando. So, all right.
Are you saying you're a Minion?
No, I'm saying I have a soft spot in my heart for the Minions because they love my town. So there you go. Okay. All right.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I know this is not people are just going to have to hear your explanation. Well, I don't know if I can pull it up here. Watch the War of the Worlds clip on YouTube of Tom. There's a scene in that film of Tom Cruise playing catch. And the only reason playing catch is in there, not because baseball's a part of the movie, but because they have to have them doing something while he's having a dialogue with his son. It's, again, if you were to tell, okay, Tom Cruise, we want you to act like a father playing catch with his son, right? This is what someone who's never done that would think it's like. It's a lot of pounding the glove, this weird side. He's throwing it really hard. It's just again, I think I know what you're going for, but you've clearly never attempted this, You've
never played catch with a kid before.
Hold on. Let me watch how much glove pounding there is right away. No one's doing that. Okay. Again, it's so he's just trying to contain the awkwardness, and again, he's just wailing it in there to this kid. No one plays catch like this.
It really is true. It's like he thinks he's pitching at a little league game,
and he doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how his body should be standing. His legs are very wide, and he continually just pounds the glove. He's standing. Where should my feet be? And again, it's more glove pounding I've ever seen in a game of catch. It just goes. My theory is he doesn't know how. Look how ridiculously wide his legs are there, and then he has this weird wind up and kind of sling thing. Again, I'm not trying to criticize his athleticism. I'm just saying he's doing an impression of what he thinks. Look how hard he's throwing. He's doing an impression of what he thinks a normal person would do in a normal situation. I
do wonder if something happened to him around early 2000s, because growing up watching the newer Tom Cruise movies, I remember thinking why does everyone love him so much? I just didn't get it. And then during the pandemic, I finally watched Jerry Maguire, and I was like, wait, he's incredible in this. This is so
even
good.
Before that, Risky Business, and
it's almost like he got indoctrinated into a cult at some point. It's so weird. I don't know what happened.
I was thinking the divorce with Nicole Kidman, but yeah, sure, maybe the Scientology had a little factor
Watch any scene where Tom Cruise is supposed to be doing something that a normal person would do, and realize he has no idea how normal persons do this.
He had to research how to play catch with a kid, but he watched a baseball movie or a baseball game.
Yeah, I think I kind of stand. He rehearsed it. Just watch him 100%. Run. Okay, it's another thing of a normal person running from an explosion is going not to look like.
He's really stiff when he runs.
And he moves his arms very aggressively.
Yeah. I've seen a compilation of him running and people being like, has he ever run in his life? What is this?
Again, watch him try to emulate normal human behavior. And that's the fun of watching this.
If it came out that almost like in Men in Black, they unzipped the skin suit and there was an alien underneath. If that ever happened in real life, he would be the top candidate that he's actually an alien underneath the skin suit. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for...
One has to go.
Well, thanks again to Allison Eide. Make sure to check out her latest single, I Don't Know, or IDK, which is out now. She's got other great tracks as well. Keep your eye on her. She's going to be big. I love it. Also, make sure to follow Relevant Podcast on Instagram, where we are posting One Has to Goes. You can play along with us. We're posting clips of the show. You can interact with other listeners. It's great. Also follow Relevant Magazine as well on Instagram, and check out relevantmagazine.com every weekday, where we are covering the intersection of faith, life, culture, and more. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great week, everybody.
Sorry, Tom Cruise.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Make sure to check out our coverage at the intersection of faith, life, and culture every day at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, don't miss our latest digital issue. Issue 116 features Nate Bargatze, Connor Price, and a lot more. And don't forget Relevant Plus. It's the best way to experience our content, including ad-free reading, an ad-free version of this podcast, and more. You can get all the info and sign up at relevantmagazine.com.
I'm rooting for Justin Fields on the field. I'm rooting for him in his spiritual life.
Relevant Podcast Network.